Sounds good.
Welcome to the Pump Take Sports Show. Today, we are going to be talking about the premier team of the NBA, the defending champions, Los Angeles LeBron Lakers. And we're going to be talking about a few of the moves they've made in the recent days, weeks, and kind of just giving our outlook on their season, their roster, and all the moves they've made. So the ones to highlight, of course, being Montrezl Harrell coming over from the rival Los Angeles Clippers, and the Dennis Schroeder trade that sent him from OKC to Los Angeles, as well as they've recently re-signed KCP2, which is funny for Lakers fans. So, does anyone want to start off with the Montrezl Harrell contract?
Yeah, sure. I'll start off with the Harrell move. I really like the Harrell move because I feel like he provides an even more dynamic pick and roll option than Dwight Howard did, which is kind of who he's being signed to replace. Harrell was registered as the third highest pick and roll points per possession for roll men at 1.31. This ability to roll to the rim should allow him and the combination of Schroeder to form a very effective tandem, sort of like he did with Lou Williams and also in LA on the Clippers. Just because of Anthony Davis, I feel like Harrell is going to continue to serve in more of a bench role for the Lakers. But because of Davis's ability to shoot, they're going to be able to play together as a pretty highly offensive, effective 4 and 5 tandem.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing too is that AD can totally play center. So if there was, oftentimes with the Lakers, LeBron is off when AD's on. Very rarely in the regular season do they actually play on the court at the same time. So I could totally see a AD 5, Harrell 4, and then you have Schroeder. And Schroeder and Harrell could, like you said, run a very similar pick and roll situation to what Lou Will and Harrell did in the Clippers. So yeah, it's a pretty exciting signing, and obviously he's coming over from the Clippers, which is one of their biggest rivals. So, right, you make your rivals weaker, and you just become stronger at the same time.
Yeah, I like it a lot as well. I think one trade that we haven't mentioned as well is Gasol also signing with the Lakers. Yep. So those three bigs together, that's a strong presence. And yeah, I mean, defending champions, just kind of doing what they need to do, signing some big names and re-signing some players that were important. Like we all joke about KCP, but he's definitely important to the Lakers' success. Yeah, so I love what they're doing. I think that Harrell will add an awesome, just like super physical, similar to what he brought to the Clippers. But yeah, I like what you said as well, Jake, just taking away from your competition and adding it to your team. So I think those three together will all play very well.
The Lakers were already the top team in the league, and now I think they've significantly improved over the offseason. I think significantly. I think Schroeder is a great addition, a bit of an underrated guy, but totally a nice point guard for them to add that they can either, I know sometimes they play LeBron at point guard, but I think Schroeder's a formidable enough point guard that they could start him and then keep LeBron at small forward where he naturally plays. And then yeah, the additions of Gasol, and they also signed Wesley Matthews, which was a small little signing, but a bench shooting guard for them. And then they have the reigning sixth man of the year with Harrell, and I think the Lakers are definitely have to be the favorites again to repeat this year.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
I think the Wesley Matthews signing was really an underrated addition to the team as well, because like I think he's being signed as sort of a Danny Green replacement player, just because they play a very similar game style and that they're both versatile 3-and-D wings. The one thing though is that this is coming at a bargain because Green was slated to make $15.4 million in the upcoming last year of his deal, while the 1 year that Wesley Matthews just signed is worth $3.6 million. So this gave them a lot of cap flexibility to make these other moves where they bring on guys like Schroeder and they make the Harrell signing. And both Green and Matthews are almost equally valuable catch and shoot players with the ability to defend the perimeter. They put up very similar numbers shooting from three. And I think in combination with the Caldwell Pope re-signing, it gives the Lakers a lot of good 3-and-D type wing players who can help them make another deep playoff push.
Yeah, For sure. I absolutely love what the Lakers are doing. It's crazy to think that the defending champions have added Harrell, have added Schroeder, have added Matthews, and have added Gasol. Like they look more dangerous than ever. And that's just scary coming from a team that already made a convincing finals run and won that finals convincingly as well. And even though the West just keeps getting, seems like the NBA in general just keeps getting better and better. I think if you don't have the Lakers as your favorites to win next year, you should give your core a shake a little bit, just because that team looks better than ever, and they're the defending champions. So,
and also, other than the KCP deal, they didn't really spend a lot of money. Like, they got quite the bargain on Harrell. And from what I'm hearing of Lakers reports is that they're planning on signing Schroeder to a long-term deal, which would be excellent for them because, you know, he is, I believe, over 25 years old, but that is okay. It lines up with their plan to move forward and win a few more championships while LeBron is still obviously LeBron. And there's no sign of that slowing down. So adding a great point guard who can, you know, create his own shots and work in the pick and roll, it's an unbelievable signing. And to only get Harrell for, I think he got 2 years, 19 million, and the second year's a player option, I think, or team option. But regardless, they're 10 mil a year. Like, for Montrezl Harrell, who's coming off being sixth man of the year, you have the money to spend. Just an excellent signing for them.
Yeah, and just adding to the Dennis Schroeder thing, they tandem for this Lakers offense.
Yeah, I've always been a Schroeder fan for sure. And just like, also with the bring back to the Herald thing, there were so many, I know you guys saw, but there were so many reports about just the Clippers having this kind of, there's animosity towards players, Kawhi taking private jets and not wanting to fly with the team. It just didn't seem like that organization had any chemistry. So I think Harrell's definitely happy with this move. And I just think the Lakers just have a better organization in the sense where there's less drama, there's less uncertainty. So I think Harrell's going to be happy there. And I think not only he fits in well with the Lakers, but the Lakers fit well with him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
no, go ahead, Lucas.
Okay. So and last year, I think the biggest conversation was like the Battle of LA, like Clippers versus Lakers. And I think this year, going into this season, I think the Lakers have, well, even last year with the Clippers blunder against the Nuggets, I think the Lakers have really taken that a full step ahead of the Clippers in that sense, especially because they got one of the more effective players off the Clippers roster in Harrell. I know that the Clippers got our boy Ibaka, but he's not as effective, and in terms of age as well, of an addition or a replacement for Harrell. Harrell didn't have the greatest run in the bubble, but if you look at the way he played in the regular season, I think that's the type of player he is. I think maybe the bubble may affect his game a little bit. But yeah, I think he's a great addition for the Lakers, and they totally stole him off their number one rival. So
yeah, absolutely. And you see Pat Bev come out and say that he was kind of throwing some shade at Montrezl Harrell for signing with the Lakers. And that's exactly why Montrezl Harrell probably wanted to leave the Clippers, because that kind of energy and that kind of attitude is so unbecoming of a team that is trying to push for a championship. It just goes to show why the Lakers are probably going to absolutely destroy the Clippers this year again, if they play. And yeah, I mean, Los Angeles Lakers, just because I'm going to tag the Lakers in this video, I'll probably get the most views out of any video we put up because they're the premier team of the NBA. But thank you very much for listening, whether you're a Lakers fan or not. We appreciate it, and we'll see you next time on the Pump Take Sports Show.
Adios.